throughout the day, fans and colleagues have been paying their tributes to Pavarotti, who died at the age of 71. Bono has also posted his own personal tribute today on U2's website, saying, "Some can sing opera, Luciano Pavarotti was an opera. No one could inhabit those acrobatic melodies and words like him." Well, joining me now, Ryan and Dan Kowarski, who are both classical singers and have been signed to the same label as Pavarotti, and joining us from Liverpool, opera singer Martin Toll, who's scheduled to sing the national anthem before England's game against Israel on Saturday. Welcome to you all. As you were saying, Dan and Ryan, I mean, a sad day, but he was the inspiration. He was probably one of the voices that got you to singing. So,
absolutely,
your memories today?
I mean, you know, we grew up listening to him, you know, since we were 4 years old. Our father's an opera singer and our older brother's an opera singer as well. So in our household, we used to listen to Nessun Dorma and you know, The Daughter of the Regiment.
Where he sang 9 high C's in a row.
Wow.
So no one will ever forget that.
Have you ever had a go?
No, we have not.
He's really the greatest vocalist to ever live. I mean,
and not only is he the greatest vocalist to ever live, but he just had charisma and he sang with emotion. He was just so different.
I mean, have you tried to sort of model yourself on him, or is it just an inspiration and you kind of have to get on with your own voices and what you do with it?
We do. I mean, you know, when we were little kids, we used to stand in the mirror and try to sing Nessun Dorma. We weren't too good at it when we were little kids, but yeah, it was just, you know, it's something that we've always wanted to try to be like him. You know?
We actually have a personal story about Pavarotti. My older brother met Pavarotti at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York. And went up to Pavarotti, and my brother was newly married at the time, and went up to Pavarotti and just said, "You've been such an amazing influence and such an inspiration in my life." And he said to Pavarotti, "You know, I'm sure you hear this all the time." And Pavarotti said to him, "My one wish is to be young, in love, and live life again."
Yeah, so he will be really deeply missed by us all.
Let's bring in Martin Toll, because Martin, I'm sure you have your own stories and your own thoughts about Luciano Pavarotti and how he may have influenced your own career.
Oh well, I mean, he was a major influence in my decision to go into opera. On hearing the Three Tenors concerts in 1990, and particularly the Nessun Dorma being used as the World Cup anthem, I decided to imitate, I suppose, Pavarotti at parties, and started singing Nessun Dorma. I remember my grandmother cutting out the words from a national newspaper, and then I sang at a few parties, and then one or two people said, "Listen, I think you need to go and get your voice trained." This was back in 1991, and that's how it all started for me. So here we go. 17 years later, I'm going to be singing at Wembley on Saturday, for the England game against Israel, and I'm dedicating that. I'm singing the national anthem, and maybe Nessun Dorma, we'll see, but I'm dedicating that to Pavarotti, the great man.
Are you going to, the twins are nodding here in the studio, they've obviously gone through the same experiences, the 1990, the sort of theme, and although it wasn't quite the anthem for the World Cup, but it was the theme that got played so much on television at the time. They're having the same memories here. But, I mean, tell me, could you have sort of, if it hadn't been for him, could you have gone down the pop route with your voice, or had you always wanted to do opera?
For me personally, no. It's very interesting. I found a letter recently that I wrote to my grandmother when I was 20 years of age, a student at university, and in that letter, I wrote. I said, "Hi, Gran. Here is a tape with an absolutely brilliant singer. His name is Pavarotti." Yeah. So even then, as a 20-year-old student, he'd made an impression on me, and that's what it was. He inspired me to that. No, I've always. Maybe I would have been a pop singer, but before then, singing was not really a part of my life. I wanted to be an actor, believe it or not. But Pavarotti inspired me into the world of opera, and as I say, set me on the route of training the voice.
Ryan and Dan, you perform under the name RyanDan, so
yes.
I kind of call you that as a collective, I'm afraid. But I mean, you were surrounded by opera from an early age. Your dad was an opera singer, as you were saying. So I mean, this man's voice, Pavarotti, presumably was ringing around your house almost every day.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and even Pavarotti did such incredible things. He put together Pavarotti and Friends, where he sang with Bono, and he, you know, some other huge stars.
And
Was he? I mean, I suppose he was one of the first to sort of transcend, if you like, the opera world into the sort of modern popular culture.
Yeah, he's really given us the opportunity to, and he's paved the road for artists like us to come out, you know, with classical crossover music. And it's devastating to us. It really is.
And in the words of Pavarotti, no one will sleep tonight.
Nessun dorma. That's exactly what it means.
Yeah. No, I mean, there were some great quotes here. I was thinking, there's the great conductor Zubin Mehta here, talking from Florence, saying today, even now I am sure that wherever he is, his voice will be charming the entire universe. I mean, his voice, I mean, Martin, in a way, his death has sort of brought out some most wonderfully lyrical thoughts and quotes from people around the world, that he's obviously inspired by his own voice and his own, his singing.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. There was no better than Pavarotti, particularly with the Italian, with Puccini, Verdi. He was quite simply the best. You know, not just the voice, but I mean technically as well. He was a marvel. And you know, just with you know, Ryan and Dan there. I mean, I'm absolutely distraught really at the news today that he's passed away. You know, he's played a major part in my life, and there's something missing today. Something missing in my life today because of his death.
Martin, what's the quality of his voice that made him unique?
Well, you know what I always say is that there are a lot of very good tenors who are technically perfect, but Pavarotti had something else, and he had passion, which he brought into the football arena with the Three Tenors concert in 1990. But he always had that thing when he hit the top note, it was more like a scream rather than a really controlled note, and it was that scream that sent shivers down my spine, and I know sent shivers down millions of people throughout the world. And as I say, I suppose it was that scream that really turned me into opera, and you know, I'll be celebrating the fact that I'm singing obviously at Wembley on Saturday, but remembering Pavarotti and the influence he had in my career and career development.
Martin, I mean, that's a fantastic opportunity, and millions of us will be watching on Saturday and seeing you singing the anthems, but you're hoping to give it a little bit extra in his memory, are you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, I mean, if I sing just the national anthem will be to the memory of Pavarotti. And but if we do, the FA does decide to go with singing Nessun dorma as well, then I promise you a rendition which will never be as good as Pavarotti. There's nobody as good as him, but I'll be trying to do as best as I can and make it as one for the crowd and one to remember him correctly.
Fantastic. We'll watch for the rafters being lifted at Wembley then. And a last thought, Ryan and Dan. I mean, what do you think your tribute will be? I mean, how will you set about trying to remember and celebrate Pavarotti in your own performances?
I think just generally, I mean, it's what we've always strived to be, you know, as unbelievable as he was.
The emotion in which he sang with, just
passion,
unbelievable.
Just incredible.
That's what really made Pavarotti, the passion and emotion that he put into his vocal. Unbelievable.
Ryan and Dan, Martin Toll and Liverpool as well, thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you for your memories. Very nice of you to come and share them with us. Thanks.
The top story.